On The Rocks.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, first of all, thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
You know, it was so damn easy. All I had to do was take La Cienega straight and make a right turn.
I know, it's like, less than 20
It
minutes
had
from
me
your house.
it had me turn left on Jefferson,
Right.
going several miles that way. Then it has me turn right on some street. Then I come down and there's Slauson. And I'm looking at the 700 block of Slauson.
Yeah?
And so that was on Waze. And it kept telling me, turn left here. And I'm in a residential area. I'm going in circles.
So how long did it take you, eventually?
An hour and 10 minutes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And then let me switch to Google, and Google did the same thing.
Really?
Yeah. And so here I am on Slauson, heading west towards this way. Now I know I'm Slauson. I know I got to go west to get to West Slauson. Okay? And it's telling me, turn right. Turn right.
All right.
Every street's telling me to turn right.
Go in circles.
Yeah.
Well, the important thing is you're here.
Yeah.
Finally. And thank you for coming out at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because you don't usually do this, right?
Right.
I always do this in the morning. That's what you're complaining about. No. So I wanted to, first of all, we met on the same apartment when I moved in.
Right.
Right. And then I've been on your show.
Yeah.
Right. And then I remember the day that I got there to my apartment, you knocked on my door and you gave me your book. Right? Can I have that book, Kenyon? Thanks. See, you have it. You have it with you. You even signed it for me.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, when I finished reading this, I could not believe. I mean, I thought my life was complicated and went through a lot of shit. But it seems like you had a lot of shit going on with your life. A lot of great experience too, right?
And not everything's in there.
That's what I thought. Now I want to find out about that too. But what is the funny thing is, one of the things that I realized, like some of the things that you mentioned, people really don't know what they are. Like, was it polyglycol?
Polyglycol.
What was that again?
Polyglycol was a car sealant. And we had advertising all over the world.
Oh, this was in the 70s, right? Or 60s?
70s and 80s.
Yeah.
80s? No, 70s.
70s.
70s. And it's really funny. I just see a guy popping up in my Instagram feed, John Stossel.
Why do I know that name? I know that name.
He's a big reporter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he became big because of polyglycol. I think he was with Channel 2 News in New York at the time. Now, Walter Fison, who created it,
all right.
I mean, he began selling cars when the only color that you could buy was black. Okay? That's how far back he went. He created this thing. And I was already in the automobile after-sale market, as I was the pioneer in that market, all right, for automobile dealers. So I seen his ad. He had the full back page of the automotive news. Polyglycol, this and that. And every time you turn your TV on, you saw an advertisement of polyglycol. So the vice president from the insurance company came to me one day. He said, "You should get involved in this," he said, "for all your dealers." So I called, and I made an appointment to go in, and I got to fly into Scarsdale, New York.
But you don't know what it was.
No, but if you saw the ad, you would have thought that they were in a big skyscraper in New York.
Right.
Okay? He's in Scarsdale, New York. Now, I fly into White Plains Airport, it's a little small plane in the White Plains. And there, when I get off the plane, Walter is waiting for me in his Mercedes. He's got a beard. He's a tall guy. He looked like Jesus Christ. Right? He said, "You're Ori." I go, "Yeah." "Yeah, get in the car." And then He stops at a grocery store. He picks up some eggs and bacon and other stuff. And I'm expecting to go to a big office building.
Right.
We go to his home in Scarsdale. Now, Scarsdale's an upscale area. And in his garage is all these boxes of polyglycol. We walk in the house, and Walter's got a desk in that corner of the kitchen, big kitchen or what. All right? And his wife, Gloria's got one in this corner. And she's on the phone. And the maid is cooking for us.
Oh, wow.
So now Gloria is explaining everything about polyglycol to me, how much money I can make, that I become a distributor, I could have the entire state,
So wait. So polyglycol is a coating.
It's a
for the
coating
car,
that you
right?
put on your car, guaranteed for 3 years. No, that was our average. No need to ever shine your car again.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
So that's how we began, with the one product initially. So now I hear Walter on the other phone. I mean, you're in the kitchen and Gloria's talking, and I hear Walter. And he hangs up with the guy. And he said, Ori, you know who that was? I said, no. He gives me the name. I've heard the name before, but I didn't know the guy. It was a big radio distributor.
Okay.
The distributor makes radios for cars.
Okay.
He said, he's signing up.
Hmm.
I said, oh, nice. So we finished the pitch and this and that. And he drives me, when we're all done, he drives me to my hotel in New York City, to Warwick on 54th and 6th.
Hmm.
And I tell you,
that hotel becomes like your next, like
it
home
was,
away from home.
that
right?
was my home.
Right.
I had a suite there 10 years.
Mm.
And I'm thinking about this. I said, I'm going to call the distributor that he said.
Right.
So I called the guy from the radio. I said, did you just recently speak to Walter Fison? And the guy knew who I was, too. He said, Ori, I don't know any Walter Fison.
Yeah.
I said, did you just sign up to be a distributor of Polygo? He says, no.
Right.
And I said, okay, thank you. I hung up. I said, if this guy's got the balls to try to pull that on me, he's got to be good.
See,
So I called
that's
him
where
up.
it's different. Like most of the people, right, will say, he's pulling shit on me. I'm not going to deal with this guy anymore. But instead, you said, if he's got the balls to do that to me, I'm going to use him, right?
Yeah.
Wow. That's the difference.
So I called him up. I says, I'll take the deal, I said. Let's meet next Tuesday. I had my lawyer here, I had the contract. I'll give you the check.
Mm.
And I bought my first 100 cases of polyglycol. And then I told Walter why. And now this product, you would have thought it was a big factory and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the product was really nothing. But it was all the packaging, and it was a forced sale because the way he sold it, he was selling it to the people, and the people are asking the auto dealer about. So now the auto dealers are hearing it from their customers; they want it.
Right.
All right. So I mean, I had over 250 automobile dealers as clients, so we did extremely well with that. There, we brought on other products. We brought on the undercoating for the car. The fabric sealant, car alarm. Oh my God! I tell
So
you.
how old were you when you were doing this?
I don't know. Fuck. I feel like I'm the same age as I always been.
Yeah,
You know?
that's good. That's good.
But-
Because you know what? It was so funny because when I read your book, I was, first I saw you going into Army,
Yeah.
and you spent some time in Hawaii,
Yeah.
right? And that's what, I remember you changed your name from Orlando to Ori in Hawaii,
Right.
right? Why was that?
Well,
Remember that?
being in the Army, you're meeting people all the time. What's your name? Orlando Spado. Where are you from? Rome, New York.
Yeah.
The first thing, well, what kind of name is Orlando? And I got to explain it.
Yeah.
And then, where's Rome, New York? Never heard of it. And I got tired of it.
Yeah.
So I just said, Ori Spado, New York.
Huh. Let's make it much simpler and
Yeah,
easier.
yeah.
And then you stayed there for how long was it?
3 years.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
But you never went back there, though.
I've been back there several times.
Oh, you have? Just to travel, but you never lived there, right?
No, but once my movie deal is done,
yeah,
I'm planning on moving there.
Oh, cool. I want to hear about the movie deal. But also, you spent time in Florida, right?
Yeah,
So you were in
time.
New York, Florida came. It's so funny because like when I read about the places that you met people in New York, like Russian Tea House. Remember that place?
Who?
Russian Tea House.
Yeah.
Remember that in New
Yeah.
York? I used to go there for lunch and
Yeah?
during the late '80s
On
or mid '80s.
57th, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all these places that you were talking about in the book, I remember being there, you know. And I used to go to West Palm Beach, Florida, and stuff like that too. So, and also like here in LA, you go to Il Pastel,
Yeah.
right? I go there a lot for lunch. So all these places that you mentioned about, I relate to that because I used to do business over there, you know. But the people that you dealt with, I never dealt with those people, you know. And I remember when you gave me that book, you said, "Hey, Sonny, I have a great friend named Sonny," and I realized who that was. You want to talk? You'll tell me about that a little bit about your friendship, and I think wasn't he like a big part of your life, right?
Yeah, he was.
Right?
He was
Yeah.
a big part of my life. Sonny's a legend. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
But, you know, out here on the West Coast, another legend that nobody talks about except me is Jimmy Kachi.
Mm.
So, in the underworld, Jimmy and Kachi and Sonny are equals. They were both skippers or captains.
Right. Right.
And Sonny was the underboss of the Colombo crime family. Jimmy was the underboss of the California.
Mm.
And Jimmy was originally from Buffalo, New York.
Mm.
Jimmy and I made a shitload of money together.
But did you say Jimmy was kind of jealous of your relationship with Sonny?
No, Sonny was related.
Sonny was. Okay.
Yeah.
Ah. Mm.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean,
It's like
I
what a life.
remember one time at a diner on Long Island, Sonny pounding the fucking table. Fuck Jimmy Kachi, you're with me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Jimmy Kachi hammering in the car one day. Fuck Sonny Franzese, you're with me.
But
I
it
said, I don't know
sounded
what
like
the fuck you guys mean. I'm by myself.
yeah.
I'm a
yeah.
renegade. I always felt
But
to
you
myself.
didn't. Yeah, but you didn't really belong anywhere. I mean,
No.
or yeah, you're on your own. Right?
I didn't want to belong anywhere.
Right,
I don't want
right.
somebody to own me.
Right. But the feds were following you,
Feds were
assuming that
following.
you were with somebody else.
That's
Right?
following me right around the country, me and Jimmy Kachi.
Yeah.
They thought that I got my button. They thought that I became made.
Right.
And then Jimmy brought me around the country to introduce me to everybody.
Right.
Because, see, that's the proper way when you make somebody that you normally make the rest of the families throughout the country know that this guy is made and he's a friend of ours.
So, like us, like when we imagine what that world is like, you see, like Scorsese's movie and stuff like that, right? But you were very close to that, that
Yeah.
world, or you were in it.
Well, look,
Was it?
before
Is there
Sonny
any different?
Before Sonny Franzese, you got to realize I had already known Frank Costello.
All right.
I knew Carlo Marcello out of New Orleans. Russell Buffalino, who the Irishman was. Joey
Oh,
Pesci
really?
played him in The Irishman.
Mm.
Meyer Lansky. I knew all these people before Sonny Franzese.
But was it like the movie depicts the reality of what the world was about, or is it different, or?
It's totally different what
Is it?
people really think. Okay? There are rules, regulations, a lot of politics. You got to be aware 24 hours a day.
Mm.
You're hustling every day for $1.
Mm.
Okay? It's in your blood.
Mm.
All right? You got to follow the rules. Got to know what the rules are.
Right.
You got to know what the politics are in order to survive in that world.
But most of the people that was in it was basically doing and hustling and making money for the family. But in your case, you were doing it on your own, for yourself,
yeah,
right?
For myself.
All right. So you don't have to answer to anybody. But didn't you have to have like permission to like do this at this area or that area? Or
Look, at my relationship with Sonny, now I'll tell you a story about Sonny.
Yeah.
I actually only paid money up to Sonny twice in the 45 years that
But
I know.
before you go on, you can talk about this without any problem, right?
Nope. Yeah,
All
I know
the
what I
fans
can
and
talk.
everything else.
I know what I
we're
can
done
talk
with.
about. There's
Yeah?
things in my book I can't talk about.
Okay.
So you're not around a Sonny Franzese or a Jimmy Kachi unless you're a very serious guy.
Right.
Unless you're very capable and you're willing to do all the things that a real gangster can do.
Mm.
And trust me, I could do it and go have my breakfast and not bother me at all.
Yeah.
Okay? So you can figure out what that is.
Is it any? I mean, you don't know about it now, that world now, but do you think it's a little different than before? I'm sure that everything changes, right?
It's quite different. It gets worse
Oh yeah.
here in the United States because they don't kill rats no more.
Mm.
Because rats they consider them, the law considers them like a cop, you know.
Right. Right.
And so if you go on YouTube, the biggest people in the mafia genre are rats.
Mm.
And they got the most followers. One has over 1 million.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And I hate it. I detest it. And
I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but wasn't Sonny's son was one of them?
both,
right?
two of his sons.
Two of his sons? And
Yeah.
actually
And
read his father out, right?
His stepson,
Yeah.
okay, who
Mm.
is the one with over 1 million followers.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So, is it like you don't hear about it anymore? Like, remember in my days, right? Like a Vegas casino was owned by the gangster.
Oh,
You know,
Vegas and
all
back
these places like
that
you
was
know,
another home of mine. Las Vegas was
hey,
another
New
place.
York. What's that? The casino there? What's it called?
Which one?
The one in New York. The
Casino in New York?
yeah. What's it called again? With the golden nuggets there and
In New York, New Jersey, you
New
mean?
Jersey, New Jersey,
Atlantic City, yeah.
Atlantic City, right? All
Yeah.
the places like that.
Yeah.
But now you never hear anything about that anymore, right? It's all cleaned
No,
out. And,
they're not involved. Corporate took over.
so what do they do now? How do they survive? Do you know?
The casinos?
No, I'm talking about the gangster, the group, the family. Or are they all gone? As far as you know, as far as you can say.
They're still there.
Yeah.
I know two of the bosses. I've spoken with two of the bosses.
Mm-hmm.
Upon my release, actually, messengers came out from New York for 3 different families that wanted me to be with them, and I respectfully declined.
Yeah. See, another thing that people don't know is, until they read this book, is you spent about 5 years,
Yeah.
right? How was that like?
No different than I am doing now, except
Really?
I could drive around.
Yeah? So it was not bad?
Look, you know, life is a mindset.
All right.
And I knew that eventually the day had to come that I get nailed for something.
All right.
But as the feds go, they nail you for things you didn't do. But, you know, you sit back. You know, I knew it was going to happen. I'll never forget the day I got arrested. It was 6 a.m. in the morning. Had my dog, my coffee, my cigarettes. Had Fox News on.
Yeah.
And I lived on Squaw Drive.
You were always in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard car doors opening, slamming. And at 6 a.m. in the morning, you could hear a pin drop on that street. Very quiet street. And I knew what it was.
Mm.
And before you know it, boom, 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 on my door. I got up, had a cigarette in my hand, walked to the door, opened up, boom, they knocked the cigarette out of my hand on my fucking floor. Yeah. Turned me around, put the cuffs on, making a lot of noise. They put me in an area of my house.
I mean, did they have a arrest warrant?
They did. They had an arrest warrant.
Search warrant, everything?
But then my son heard the noise.
Oh, he was living with you at the time?
He thought I had the radio on loud.
Oh.
Or TV, rather.
Your son came out.
So now, they ran in my son's room. I said, you got no right. They went in there, they found some marijuana. What's this? I said, you got no fucking right going in that room.
No.
I said, you don't have a search warrant.
Right.
All right? And now I said, what are you arresting me for? And I'm handcuffed. And they show me a piece of paper, and I look at it, and it says, distribution of cocaine. I laughed. I said,
what?
Yeah. I said, I'll be out by dinner time. It doesn't tell me that it's a RICO conspiracy with the Colombo family. Okay?
Mm.
And so I said, I'll be out by dinner time. I said, Anthony called Danny and Josh. Josh was my bail bondsman. Danny was my lawyer.
All right.
All right?
But wasn't there, I'm sorry, the feds, you had like a one nemesis guy, right?
Yeah.
He was always after you and shit, right?
He's still with him.
Is it? I'm sure he retired by now.
He's on the fugitive squad.
He's still around?
That's right, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Scott Garriola.
Wow. But don't you, like, after all these years, they don't say, hey, man, this, not be friends, but
no,
like, you know what I mean?
He calls me a con man still.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I conned him really good, and I taped him and other FBI agents.
Yeah.
They wanted me to tape gangsters. I taped them. I let I let my gangsters know, and I went on record
right
in New York with what I was doing. Everybody wanted me to keep doing it.
Mm.
But Jimmy Cashy said, you got to stop this. You're in a lot of trouble.
Right.
So when the FBI wanted to meet me at a restaurant in Santa Monica, I went with my lawyer, and he let him know, you got warrants for Mr. Spado? Let me know. He'll come in on his own accord.
So that from that day on, you spent 5 years, right? You thought you were going to come back.
What I got indicted for, I'm going to tell you what I got indicted for. I got indicted.
Do you have your drink still?
I'm going to tell you what I really got indicted for. It was not, they had it on paper, a cocaine conspiracy and robbery of a home in Burbank.
Right.
Okay, that I was the manager of it and the boss of it and so forth. They had me on 2 predicate acts. That's not the real reason. The real reason they indicted me was because I recorded the FBI.
Oh, they were pissed.
And I had 12 tapes. 12 tapes I had. And Scott Garriola, as a result of that, got demoted off the organized crime task force.
Oh, yeah.
And they put him on the fugitive squad. Now, quite honestly, he should thank me because he's very big. He's the boss of the fugitive squad now. And he's the guy that got the credit for busting Whitey Bulger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Here in Santa Monica?
In Santa Monica, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you know him or no?
Who, Whitey? No.
Yeah. No? Never heard of him?
No.
Well, he was in what? He was in
course
Boston or?
Of course I heard of him.
Huh.
Let me tell you, me or any other gangster, none of us ever thought he was still in the United States.
Really?
We felt he had to be somewhere else, another country.
Yeah, but
and
he
there
still
he was just
right here.
living right down the street.
Wow. It was so close to you in Santa Monica and Beverly Hills. Right. You probably would run into him.
A few miles away, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Who knows? I might have been in a restaurant in Santa Monica. He might have been there. I wouldn't know.
I mean, along with going back to the polyglycal thing, right? You did so many different things, right? And one of the things that was so funny was you did Asian Yellow Pages in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Right? What the fuck was that? It just...
Oh, another thing, okay? I get into things, and the people I met in my life, sometimes I ask myself, how the fuck did I do all this?
Yeah.
But the Asian Yellow Pages.
Well, that wasn't a scam, though. That was a real
No,
thing.
it wasn't a
right?
scam.
Yeah, it's a real thing, right?
It began as a scam.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, here's what happened. I got married. I married my second wife, and we moved to San Bruno, California. Well, she's from San Francisco. I got an apartment in San Bruno. We moved there,
Right.
and
I remember about that story,
I was still
too.
consulting, back east and so forth. And but I'm sitting there, I got to do something, So I started answering ads that I saw for sales.
Mm.
And I saw an advertisement for a salesman for Asian Yellow Pages. So I answered it. I put a call in. And I put the call in, maybe it was like October or November. And then I get a call. It's like January. You answered an ad? You answered our ad? I said, I haven't answered any yet. I mean, I forgot about it.
Oh, yeah?
Several months have gone by. I said, what is this? My name's David Savin from the Asian Yellow Pages. Will you come in for an interview? I said, yeah. I said, I'd like to. And they were,
No, the guy actually, was he starting Asian part? I mean,
Let
didn't he
me-
own the
let-
Yellow
let me-
Pages? He
let
was
me-
going to start
Let
at
me
Yellow Pages.
explain it before you ask.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So they were down at the, what do you call it, the
Fisherman's Wharf?
area, yeah. What do they call that area? I forgot now. So I go down,
Yeah.
and I walk in the office, and there's a secretary's desk there, no secretary.
Mm.
And I hear voices coming out of this room over here.
Mm.
Two voices. So then there's a little doorway, and I go through that, and there's a big telephone room with a lot of desks and phones, but nobody there.
Mm.
I go back down. I knock on the door. I said, I'm Ori Spado. I said, tell me what this is about. One guy's name was George Zero. He was a sharp guy. George was a great con man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the other guy, David Savin. And David, we're still friends to this day. Actually, and it's a whole long story, but
Yeah.
okay. So it was a great idea that they came up with. The Chinese, one day on the corner of Kearney and Grant, and protested the Asian Yellow Pages because they couldn't read it, piled them all up on the corner of Kearney and Grant. And George got the idea of the Asian Yellow Pages. And they sold advertising.
Right, right.
And then they took that money and they went to South America for a few months.
Oh, yeah.
So
Just took off, huh?
now they're back. All that money's gone. They can't pay to keep their phones on. They're behind in their rent. And as he told me the story, I love the story. I love the idea of the Asian Yellow Pages. But I turned down the job offer.
Right.
I leave. I go home. I get another call from David Savin. He said, we really like you. We'd like to make you the sales manager.
Yeah.
I said, oh, you would? I said, you don't have any salesmen.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Well, would you come back down and George would like to meet you in the restaurant downstairs tomorrow.
Yeah.
Can you meet? I said, yeah, okay. So I meet him the next day, and we're sitting there. And he said, look, we'd like to make you a partner. Oh, I said, I've gone from a salesman to manager and now a partner. Yeah, if you come in $15,000, you'd be a full partner. And I said, George, I said, let me tell you something. I said, you need $15,000. Put your phones on, pay your rent. All right, put ads in to hire salespeople. You got shit here.
Yeah.
I said, Dave's going to come walking in that door any minute. I said, so let's wait for him.
Yeah.
He looked back. He said, well, we did say you were sharp. And David comes in. I said, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you guys one offer. I said, I'll give you $5,000 flat, cash, and both of you leave. And it's mine.
Right.
They agreed to it. So now I got the $5,000 from another guy named Frank Grace, who was from London, who was a pimp.
Right. That's another story. That's a great story, too.
Yeah.
Where you got the money.
Yeah. And, oh, my God. We made it.
How did you know the guy?
Who, Frank?
Yeah.
I lived on the corner of Laguna and Pacific in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And there was a girl named Karen Clark. Yeah, I remember her name.
Well, you know all the names still.
Yeah.
You remember them.
And,
It's amazing.
yeah, I'm much better than Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so
you knew the guy.
Karen
Yeah.
told everybody she was a college girl. She was originally from New Hampshire. And I knew it was bullshit.
Yeah.
And so one day...
She was a working girl, right?
Yeah.
No?
One day she knocks on my door. She actually wanted sugar for coffee. I said, come on. So she comes in, I get in the sugar. I said, Karen, I said, let's be friends. I said, we're going to begin. I said, bullshit everybody else in the building, but don't bullshit me.
Yeah.
I said, you're a call girl.
Yeah.
She said, how do you know? I said, because I'm a street guy. I said, so I know. All right. And we became friends. And and friends for a long time. Holy shit.
So you met Frank through her. Yeah?
I met Frank through her, Frank Grace, and two of his girls, Heather and no, not that's Bob. That's here in Los Angeles. Heather and Lahore. Two other working girls. This was Heidi Fleiss.
Oh,
Okay.
really? Wow.
Yeah. So
You've been around, man. No, so didn't you get finance from not only Frank but from the girls too, right?
Oh yeah, the girls were in on it too, and then I had to buy them out.
Right, right.
And
whatever happened to the business? Did you?
I ended up selling my end. I brought a young man in, Jimmy Stein, who was
Well, did he work
great
with you?
salesman. He worked for me. I hired him. I trained him.
But didn't he also work with you afterwards here in L.A.?
No.
Wasn't Jimmy?
No. And
So you sold it.
so I brought him in as a partner,
Yeah,
and then I moved to L.A.
yeah.
and I sold out my end for $25,000. And Jimmy did a wonderful job. We finished the phone book. We brought in the sales, brought in the money. We published the phone book.
Right.
And if you took the phone book, it was in Chinese and English. You turn it around the other way, it was in Japanese and English.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. No, I mean, there are many people listening to this wouldn't know what Yellow Pages.
The people don't know what they are today.
Yeah, exactly. They were just like,
Yeah.
we used to get Yellow Pages as, once you have a landline at home, right? They bring you this Yellow Pages for free.
Yeah.
And then they also had a White Pages, right?
White Pages.
And if you don't, White Pages for like residential, right? And then if you don't want your names on it, you got to pay additional to take it out, or are they going to publish it, right? That was a scam too,
Yeah.
right? And then you can advertise on the Yellow Pages for the plumbers and whatever, Now everybody does that on the internet,
online
right?
now.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was San Francisco State, and then you were also doing something here in LA too, like I don't know whether you can talk about that, but like the check cashing thing.
Oh yeah, I can
And
talk
it's like
about it.
so like incredible that you were able to do that. In I think it was in like in 80s or 90s, right?
You were able to do things in those days you can't do today.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
it's amazing.
But I mean,
Huh.
we could take checks, get them deposited in another account. I had people at banks that could cash them. So I had people looking for checks in mailboxes for me, and
Right.
you know, and I had a guy who was a bartender right next door to a bank.
Right.
I go in, I give him the file. He'd come back with the cash. I give him his 10% and walk out.
I mean,
I never had to go in the bank.
how do you get these like people to do shit for you? Like, did they come to you knowing your reputation, or do you find them, or how did it work? I mean, it's
People are
amazing.
attracted to me for some reason.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody felt I was a gangster and mafia. Everybody felt that here in Los Angeles. I could walk into a room, I knew immediately what everybody in that room thought.
Mm.
So I was able to use that to my advantage.
Right.
But the reality of these people and all the people I did favors for in Hollywood, reality come in when I got arrested.
Right.
Now they really, oh, this guy really is.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Right.
And but
Hmm.
I got a good life.
I mean,
can't complain.
Yeah, one of the things that I wanna, I'm sure people wonder is, like the first day you got to jail, and you're looking, laying on the fucking, whatever this like, tiny bed, looking up in the ceiling, going, "What the fuck am I doing in here?" Right? I mean, do you remember that? What
Well,
did you
no,
feel like?
I
I mean,
started to tell you. I told you life's a mindset.
right?
So once after you go through R&D and they give you your clothing, all that bullshit, your bedding, and they bring you to a unit.
Yeah.
They bring you to a unit. There's me. There's him. He's black.
Mm.
She's Chinese. Okay. They bring all the new guys into different units. They bring us to a unit, and immediately, a black guy goes up to the black guy. Come with me.
Right.
All right. A white guy comes to me, says, "You're white? Yeah, come with me." And
Was there like Asian people too, like separately, or
yeah, if there's Asians,
Hispanic? They're all different. Like they don't.
Yeah, and there's shot callers for each group.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm.
so the white guys brought me. They found out who I was right away. They set my bunk up for me.
Oh yeah.
And they had food for me, candy bars, stuff. And then they introduced me to all the other shot callers, so everybody immediately knew who I was.
Oh. Okay.
So I was very well respected. And that was in MDC, Los Angeles.
Mm.
Then I got transported to New York because I couldn't get bail because the FBI lied and said that I had outstanding warrants. And Danny looked at me. I said, "Ori, I take care of everything. Where are these warrants going?" I said, "Danny, I don't have any."
Mm-hmm.
All right. I said, "Let's just get I'll extradite let's have a fast extradition in New York."
Right.
And just when I went to my first bail hearing in New York, first thing the U.S. attorney said to the judge, "Your Honor, we need to apologize to the courts and to Mr. Spado. We got his name mixed up with somebody else. He doesn't have those warrants. But he still should not get bail because he's a violent individual." And they went on and on. I still didn't get bail. 4 bail hearings, I didn't get it. But I'm glad I didn't because all that time went towards my time.
Right. But, I mean, you didn't know. You pretty much spent like 4 or 5 years not knowing what your charges were. I mean, how long you're going to be in there, when you're going to get out. Because you had to go back and forth between jail and the courtroom, right?
Oh, that was...
I mean, like you talk about mindset. How did you survive that, Like if you knew that, you have 5 more days or 5 more months or 5 more years.
My first day arrested,
yeah,
my mindset changed.
Yeah.
This is my home.
Oh, okay. You may not go home, so this is it.
Get used to it.
Mm.
Okay? You can't fight it.
Right.
Don't cry. I don't cry anyway, but but you can't cry about it. You can't bitch about it. You accept it. You got people don't accept things in life. Okay, and you got to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, look at. I was involved in a car accident. I don't think it was my fault.
Right.
But maybe the other people think I do, and maybe the insurance company. Whatever they do, I got to accept it.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Even though I think I'm right. But.
I mean, yeah. So there's a lot of things that people just make excuses. Or,
so now, once I got to NDC Brooklyn, they put me, my first unit there, and it happened to be in 4 North, and Diddy happens to be in 4 South right now. All right? And it was a shithole then like you couldn't imagine. Okay? And I hear it's 100 times worse than when I was there.
Really?
But anyways, as soon as I walked in the door, guys came up to me, Ori, we've been expecting you. Italians,
Yeah.
And there were 2 brothers, Anthony and Mickey Souza from Staten Island. And they said, Ori, and they were Colombo guys. They says, we got this table over here. We'd like to have you sit with us. And I looked over at the table. I said, let me give it. I looked, wasn't all Italians at the table. I said, let me think about this here, I said, I'll let you know. Let me set up my locker and get situated. So now I'm in my locker and I'm putting things in, getting myself situated. And the guy walks up behind me. He says, Ori Spado, 310-273-2811, Beverly Hills, California.
Don't be. You should put the beep on that phone number. Right? Okay.
That was my old phone number.
Old phone number. Okay, that's cool. All right.
I don't know who's got it now.
Who was that? Who said that?
And I turn around and I look. I says, who are you and how the fuck do you got my number and all that? He says, Ori, I'm Joey Camarino.
I remember that.
All
yeah,
right.
in the book. Yeah.
He says, I used to dial your number for Sonny.
Yeah.
He said, look at Ori, I got that table over there by myself. And Joey was a skipper with the Badano family. He says, you're welcome to sit with me. I said, Joe, thank you. I'll sit with you. And then I knew every time I talked to Anthony and Mickey, when they come to talk to me, I knew they had a wire on in prison.
Yeah.
So you got to be alert. You got to know what you're doing.
All right. So after, settling, taking the plea deal, right? And you need more ice? Here. You got it? So after settling with a plea deal, right?
Yeah.
You decided to take the deal, and now you're ready to get out of there, right?
Yeah.
What was the first thing that you did when you came out? I think you said that on the
No,
book.
I got the plea deal. Once
once you
I
came out.
accepted the plea deal,
Right.
then I got sentenced. The plea deal that I accepted, and I was not going to take it. I wanted to go to trial and fight this freaking thing.
Right.
And I'm in the bullpen.
I'm adding a little bit.
I'm in the bullpen,
Yeah.
and I'm telling a guy who was a skipper with the Genovese family, Pico, and he says, Spado, take that deal, or they'll shut your lights out.
Right.
He says, you've been here a couple of years, your good time, you'll be able to see daylight. Take the deal. So I took the deal.
Right.
97 to 110 months. Okay? And so now, when we went to sentencing, I did something.
Right.
One thing, I was very instrumental. I wrote my own motions. I knew who my judge was. I knew where he came from. I knew where he was born. I knew everything about my judge.
Right.
I knew he was appointed by George W. Bush. He was from Chicago. He lived in Florida. And he was never a prosecutor. It was Judge Brian Cogan. Honest to God, he was a great judge. Okay? And I knew how to write him. I knew how to write my motions. And
He reduced the sentence, didn't he?
yeah, so what happened? Now you got to have people write letters in, okay? And the normal way they do that is I get you, and you to write letters to my judge, but you send them to my lawyer, and my lawyer would give the judge 20, 30, 40, how many letters you got, give the judge all the letters at one time. The way I did it, I call you up, Sonny, I need you to write a letter to my judge. Take this address. Here's the judge's address. Here's my lawyer's address. Send a copy to my lawyer and send one directly, mail it directly to the judge. So now, here's a judge every 2 or 3 days getting 2 or 3 letters. So he's reading them all. If he gets 50, he's just going to go through like that. And the judge even remarked about that in my sentence hearing. And so when I got sentenced, he says, Mr. Spado, he says, I'm sentencing you to 60 days for the robbery. That was the 97-month part of it.
60 days?
60 days he reduced it to.
Wow.
I leaned over to my lawyer. I said, he say 60 days?
Wow.
All right. And then he says, Mr. Spado, on the 924 gun charge, my hands, he went like this. My hands are tied by Congress.
Wow.
I have to give you 60 months on that. So your sentence is 62 months. So it went from 97 to 62.
Right.
By that time, I already had 30 months in.
Ah.
All right. So I had another 30 to do.
Right.
So, I mean, it was, and I think, you know, with the motions, I did a prosecutorial misconduct motion. Okay. I put down the fact of Scott Garriola.
Yeah.
Okay. I had him in there. I put down this kid named, goes by the name of Kenny Gallo. His real name is Kaneko. Okay.
Kaneko.
Kaneko.
That's Japanese.
Is he Japanese?
I think so. Asian guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a rat. Yeah. He posted,
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
On the book. I mean, he didn't he used to.
He put
Did
a
he use
thing.
porn?
He got from the FBI. He put a tape. One of the tapes that I had. Jimmy Kachi had it, and he got it from off Jimmy Kachi's tape. He robbed it when Jimmy wasn't home.
But didn't you say he used to sell like VHS porns, right?
Porn, yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that in your book. Yeah.
Yeah, and he posted. It's still on fucking Google.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, with the headlines, Ori Spado is a rat.
Oh really?
But if you listen to the tape, I'm right there. I'm recording.
Yeah.
Okay, but people don't listen. They see that with the caption.
So, like, you know, when you get to this age, I mean, I'm getting old too, and you know, people say, oh, you know, just bygones be bygone, and just forgive and forget. Do you forgive and forget that FBI guy or whatever that ever happens, or
The
do you
FBI
still
guy,
feel like
look, the FBI guy was doing his job.
yeah,
Okay,
Right?
I got no problem with that.
okay,
But you know what I have a problem with is they don't do your job the right way.
right,
Okay, they don't.
right,
See, when Richard Nixon, he's the one who signed the RICO Act.
yeah,
Okay, when he signed that in the law in 1971, I believe it was, he did that there thinking it's going to stop the drugs from coming into this country. You got to remember, J. Edgar Hoover was the FBI director.
right,
He wasn't going after us. Okay?
yeah,
All right? You got to
He had a
remember,
deal,
they didn't
yeah.
come after us until Kennedy.
wow,
Now, do I like the Kennedys? Absolutely not.
mm.
Okay? Why don't I like them? I like the president, but he appointed his brother because his father said so. His father wasn't the president, he was, but he put his brother in, and his brother went after the Italians. But it was the Italians who put Jack in the office.
yeah,
So,
all right.
And it's going to come out.
Yeah, you think so, huh?
Who killed him? I just did a post this morning.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay, there's, I'm certain that Johnny Roselli and Jimmy Frontiano were at the grassy knoll on that day.
Really?
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks.
There's
Oh, Jesus. Hey, so your book is becoming a movie,
yes.
right? So when's that? I mean, I remember you had many famous people, you know, in the industry that you dealt with, or even accidentally dealt with, like Dion, what was what's her?
Dino De Laurentiis.
No. I'm talking about the singer. Celine
Dion.
Celine Dion, yeah. Used to sleep on the couch or something?
No,
Or
in
in
my
your
extra
room?
bedroom.
Okay. And you sat with Oliver Stone. He was a great guy, you said, right?
Yeah, Oliver's a great guy.
I mean, so you know a lot of people. You know a lot of people in the industry, right?
Yeah.
And now you're working on your movie. What is going to happen? What's the status of it? When can we expect that? How am I going to be involved in that?
Sometime this year.
Yeah. De Laurentiis, like you said, he was involved, right?
Okay.
I mean,
if any of my friends were alive, it would have been made already.
right.
Okay. I mean, George Gale is a very close friend of mine. I love George. And George Gale, he did an awesome job on the script.
Mm.
And right now, we're waiting word from a major production company who has read the script, and they love it, and are probably ready to finance it. We hope.
Cool.
If not, then I got friends that could reach out to Colin Farrell. We'll get Colin Farrell, and we'll go the other way. You know, we'll put the cast together.
Okay.
Will it happen? It's going to happen. And I hope it happens in my lifetime.
I'm sure it will, and I can't wait. And I know you can't wait to have that cigarette either. So we better wrap this up. I mean, I can talk to you for many
I
more
got
hours,
so many
you know?
stories. You know, let me tell you a story.
Yeah.
Every year, a young man by the name of Rudy Chavera, he lives down in San Bernardino,
Okay.
and his mother cooks tamales and other food, makes me a big bag like this, and he comes up to give me, and we're talking. Now, I met Rudy Chavera when he worked for my friend Danny Sims. Now, you don't know who Danny Sims is.
Right.
You don't know Danny Sims. You don't. But let me tell you who Danny Sims is. Danny Sims is the guy that discovered Bob Marley.
No, I know that. You read that. I mean, you wrote that on the book.
He
right?
had Bob Marley, and he's the one who sold him to Chris Blackwell. Okay? Danny Sims was probably one of the smartest guys. He was awesome, Danny. When Danny was in Los Angeles, he was with me. When he was in New York, he was with Joe Piney of the Gambino family. You can look up that name. When he was in London, he was with my best friend, Joey Pyle, from London.
Right.
He knew how to utilize us gangsters really good. And Danny was big in the music business. So now, I'm thinking that, and Rudy said, we should do something. I said, yeah, let's do a tribute to Danny. I said, nobody talks about him. I said, I'm going to call Roger Steffens and get him. Now, Roger Steffens has got the world's largest archive of things about Marley. Actually, I did the exhibit with his stuff at the Queen Mary in Long Beach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That
so
was another story. Queen Mary
so
story.
I called
Yeah.
Roger up. Now, Roger's written $8. No. And Roger told me something that I can't say now. I'll just say a little bit of it. But there's a movie in the works on Danny Sims, and I can't tell you who's going to play him yet. I know.
Wow.
Okay? I already know.
You
But
can't say it yet?
I can't say it. And so the three of us are going to be in my studio
Yeah.
giving a tribute to Danny Sims. Danny I mean, he had before Bob Marley went to him because he blew up Johnny Nash. Now you know Johnny Nash. You're all too young.
Everybody knows Johnny Nash.
No,
Yeah.
you don't.
Yeah.
Oh, bullshit. And boy, Danny during the record payola days when
Yeah,
they went
the
after
radio.
Joey Isgro, another guy.
Yeah.
Well, Danny was involved. He left the country and went to Africa.
Mm.
He stayed there for 7 years.
Mm.
And
Wow.
Danny had studios in Santa Monica.
Mm.
One day he calls me up. He said, Ori, there's a nightclub on Robertson Boulevard, and all the executives from Polygram are there. I'd like you to go with me. I said, Danny, I'd be happy to go with you, but I'm not driving to Santa Monica and pick you up. All right, because you were way down. I said, take a cab to my place. So he did. And he came, and he was dressed in his African garb.
Mm.
I mean, he looked great. I mean, Danny was a good-looking guy. You know, his wife was Beverly Johnson.
Mm.
She was a famous model, gorgeous.
Mm.
You know who she is?
Okay.
That was Danny's wife, and his daughter is from Beverly. Her name is Adnasa. And so we get to this nightclub, and the executives from Polygram are having a meeting. They're just wrapping up. And this is the door that they got come down. So now Danny stands here, Jory, he's standing here right next to me. I don't know what the fuck Danny's going to do. Now the door opens, the executives all come down. Everyone knew Danny. And they all shaking his hands, then nice and nice. And Danny's introducing me as his partner.
Oh, yeah.
Meet my partner. Meet my partner. I think, I go, what the fuck am I his partner in over here? All right. When I say he knew how to utilize us, he was a master. He was a master.
Wow.
And whatever he wanted from Polygram, he got it.
It's amazing, man. So, well, anyway, you know what? There's so many stories, and we gotta come back and we gotta do this again because you haven't told the whole story yet.
Oh,
Especially those stories that's not in this book, right? But meantime, where can people get this? And they can read this and get more information of all the stories that we just talked about and
anybody
more, right?
that wants an autographed copy, then go to my website, www.theaccidentalgangster.com.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's available wherever you buy fine books.
And your podcast addresses, how can they find you?
Stories with Ori on YouTube.
Great. Well, thanks, man, Ori. It was good to see you.
Sonny.
We appreciate it, and cheers.
We do this again. We do it in the morning.
All right.
This turned out okay, huh?
You're going to be able to drink in the morning next time?
Oh,
Or you got to wait till the afternoon?
Well, I know how to get here now.
All right.
Damn.
Cheers. Thanks.